sort of constituencies that you have, whether and right now we're talking about your employees, but we've also talked about the clients and the customers, and then there's like the sort of the service to the bottom line and making sure that that revenue needs to be where it is. There has to be situations where those things there's not alignments, where a decision you make has to we can't satisfy all three of those constituencies. Is there a way that you think through those decisions in your head if something like, again, I'm trying to think of what a good example would be, but like if we need to satisfy a client request and that will come somehow at the expense of empowering an employee to do his or her best work, or would come at the expense of a bottom line decision. Is there a way that you reconcile when those things are at head with each other?
Um, yeah, so I think that I understand what you're asking. So one of the sort of talking points that over the last couple months that I've been sort of bringing up in the various meetings, which is one way that I like to express it, is that each person matters. Every single person matters. Uh, those each person matters is both from a customer perspective as well as an individual perspective on the team. Now, the team, the corporation, is a composite of individuals. So if you take that ethic of each person matters, then it forces you to think about the individual first and foremost. What is this person going through that needs support, or a more relaxed approach, whatever it is. But then also you have to keep primary the wider team, which is also individuals. So if you think about like a basketball team, right? So, if you have one person who, I don't know, they're amazing superstar, but they're hurting the rest of the team with the way they speak to the rest of the team, right? So yeah, that person matters, that superstar matters, but so does the rest of the team, who are also individuals, and that's the bigger picture at the end of the day. So you, just taking that of each individual, that ethic of care, and applying it to the individual, but then also many other individuals, and then that helps you sort of balance out, okay, what is the action that needs to be taken. And then of course by default, Rami, you have to put a heavy, heavy emphasis on the customer. That's part of our culture, is devotion to the customer. And that's a deep ethic and a deep value of ours. And so, we really do push to give everything possible to the customer at the end of the day. And then if you find that you are repeatedly getting yourself into sticky situations where you have a tension between the customer needs and the individual team member needs, that means that you have an expectation or a system issue. So, for example, at CosMatch, we have a 24/6 real time support team, an amazing support team. Sorry for the plug, with a 15-second response time.
Well
You
done,
know,
well done, well done. Always in sales, always in sales. I love it.
what can I say? So, so the fact that they're there is a huge relief, because we are dealing with time pressured campaigns where there's a lot of stress, a lot of low sleep, a lot of pressure. And so having that support team is like a pressure release valve for the customer success team, who without that would be getting just pounded by the customers. And then I'd be putting them in a chronically unfair position. So if it becomes chronic, then that's a real problem that the leader, the manager, actually needs to solve.
I remember that. My first year, I hit like May. May was like heavy season, and I had a like crazy number of campaigns going. I didn't leave my chair for like it felt like days because there wasn't a big team at the time. We were a small team at the time, and it just felt like the fact that a campaign was on the West Coast versus the East Coast meant like I'm not moving, and I just got to be here available to them. And then once that 24/6 chat came into being, I think a year later, whatever it was like, oh, okay, that's a solve. That's really important because then the team, like me in that space as a coach, could be fresh again the next day as opposed to being like a zombie and available to everybody. But it was like one of the things I still hear a lot from people who are clients of yours is about the customer support and the chat. So that's my plug back for you. just in terms of, I hear it, like people like, that's a huge thing that there's someone who I can reach all the time when things are live that can really fix things on the go. And it's a huge, not expected. So it's a huge thing.